Storm Track 7 meteorologist Kyle Kiel is out in Storm Chaser 7. He's near Highway 63 near Tama. Kyle, what are you seeing?
Hey, good afternoon, Joy. We are on Highway 63, as you mentioned. We're near Hudson right now, and we are going to be heading south toward Tama. And I want to show you the view from our rooftop camera. We are actually looking west of Hudson toward the strongest part of the storm. And right now here on Highway 63 near Hudson, we're just seeing that heavy rainfall. We're just kind of getting into the heavy rain. Potentially, we're going to be heading toward some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, but we're trying to stay a safe distance from the storm. But we are trying to get behind this line of storms to see what kind of damage it's leaving behind. As Joy mentioned, we had reports of 99-mile-per-hour wind gusts at the Marshalltown Airport, and back toward Ames and Des Moines, we've had multiple roofs damaged, lots of trees, lots of power lines down. So these storms mean business as they race off to the east at about 55 to 60 miles per hour. So once again, we're safely driving with my photographer Daniel Hampe on Highway 63 near Hudson, and we are heading toward Tama, where some of the strongest winds with this storm are expected. And again, this is a particularly dangerous situation, so you need to heed these warnings very carefully. Meteorologist Joy Bettenhausen and I will continue to keep you updated here on the News at Noon. Live from Storm Chaser 7, I'm meteorologist Kyle Kiel for News 7 KWWL. Daniel?
All right, thanks a lot, Kyle. Welcome back to Storm Track 7 Weather Alert this midday. We are continuing to follow that severe weather. Storm Track 7's Kyle Kiel is in Storm Chaser 7. Kyle, what do you see?
Hey, Daniel, we're currently right now in the town of Traer, and just within the last 15 minutes, we've really run into some of the higher wind gusts. Right now, we've got some blinding rain here in Traer, and we're driving through town, and actually, there you see right there, we've got debris flying around due to these really strong winds. We just drove through town, and the power is knocked out. Blinding rains right now, as you can see from our rooftop camera. My photographer, Daniel Hampe, is driving, and we actually just... we just got hit with some tree branches falling, so this is some pretty serious stuff here in Tama County. As I mentioned, we are right now near the town of Traer. We are pulling off to the side of the road because this is blinding rain right now. I would estimate these winds are 50 to 60 miles per hour. I'll go ahead and kind of turn this camera around so you can kind of see what we're looking at here. Again, we're in Tama County, and we're near some sort of business, and you can see that the power is out. As Joy mentioned a little bit earlier, we did get some reports in the Toledo and Tama area of some significant tree and power line damage due to winds 60 to almost 90 miles per hour. As we mentioned earlier, we had some reports of 99-mile-per-hour wind gusts at the Marshalltown Airport. So we're going to continue to keep you covered here in Tama County. As I mentioned, we are going to be heading down toward the Tama and Toledo area where we've heard of damage. But for right now, we're going to send it back to meteorologist Joy Bettenhausen in the Forecast Center. She's got an update on these severe storms that are affecting eastern Iowa. Joy?
Yes, thank you, Kyle. Be safe out there.
Live. Tell us where you are and what you see. I see debris off the side on the road there.
Hey there, Schnack. Yes, we are on Highway 63 just north of Toledo, and we are seeing right now coming across some power lines that are over the road, and in the distance there you can see a semi that's down. So my photographer and I actually just pulled up on this scene, and we're going to carefully kind of navigate around this, staying away from the power lines because those are live. You can see there in the distance that we've got some police vehicles. I'm sure they're going to block off the traffic here, but I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, looks like 4 power poles that are down right now. We just actually spoke with a deputy with the Tama County Sheriff's Office. They said there's widespread power lines and trees that are down in the Tama and Toledo area, and no wonder, because as we're getting just close to the Toledo area, we are seeing several power poles that are down. We've also passed a grain bin that was severely damaged by the wind. Of course, we've had wind reports of 60 to 90 miles per hour with this squall line moving through. So you wonder why there's so much damage. Well, that is the reason why here. We also came across another semi here just south of Traer on Highway 63 that also had issues with the wind and did get blown over. I'm trying to get some connection here with our rooftop cam so I can kind of zoom in closer to the scene. Right now we're trying to stay a far enough distance away, and we'll have to see if we can get through here. But it does look like some police are just getting to the scene. trying to some direct traffic. There is some oncoming traffic that's trying to get through, but we have seen some pretty widespread damage just on Highway 63 heading down toward the Tama and Toledo area. Just got out of Trayer, so we're kind of in an open area, but we have seen some barn damage. We have seen some debris on the roads, and we've been seeing also a lot of cloud to ground lightning. So that's kind of the main threat behind the damaging wind. You know, just because the wind is over does not mean that the threat is over, because we've been seeing some vivid cloud to ground lightning strikes, and lightning of course can be just as damaging to you and your home, as you all know. So while we try to get some connection here to the dashboard camera, the rooftop cam here on Storm Chaser 7, we'll go ahead and toss it back to Schnack and Joy in the forecast center.
Kyle,
and
Kyle, can you hear me?
Get back to you when we find some more damage here.
Can you hear me, Kyle?
Yeah, I can hear you, Schnack.
Okay. Two things, I guess. When you get connection, hit the windshield wiper on our camera as well. Two, give people...
There we go. I think I just got it.
There you go. There's a windshield wiper. It helps clear us, gives us a little bit of a vantage, better shot of the little clearer shot there. So thank you very much. Give us an where are you? There's your, okay, now you're getting a little better shot there, so you can see the power lines. And it looks like, correct me if I'm wrong, you're looking, if you pan to the left just a touch, that those poles were snapped about...
Yeah, I'm losing...
Those poles were snapped about maybe 6 feet above.
Connection again, but Daniel's, there we go.
Yeah, so it was 1, 2, 3, 4 there. Obviously, they're closed the road. What road is this? Because this is going to be a backup as well. And what direction are you looking?
Yes, this is, so we are looking southbound on Highway 63. We're pretty much right in Toledo, so we're already seeing that traffic backed up heading northbound. So we are actually pointing southbound, so northbound traffic certainly going to be backed up, and I can imagine southbound is starting to back up as well.
Looks like the officer is going to try and lead people along the side road or the shoulder there around the poles, looks like.
Yeah.
To get that traffic going. Again, these folks are coming north.
So, we're going to figure out what we're going to do.
You don't see any, you don't happen to see any flashes from any of the power lines, like well, I'm assuming they're live since they were just knocked over.
Yeah, I've not seen any flashes from the power poles, but you know, Schnack, you bring up a good point that you never want to go and touch a power pole even if it's down, because it could still be live. It can electrocute you. It can still cause fires. So I'm sure that the officials here, the law enforcement, have been making sure that these aren't live and these are safe to kind of move around. So as you saw, traffic is now starting to move as that police officer, law enforcement officer did start to kind of direct traffic around these down power lines. Again, we're pretty much right in the town of Toledo. We're heading south on 63 toward the Toledo and Tama area. That's an area that we have heard of many trees and power lines down. So I'm sure as we get into town, if we can actually get into town here, heading south on 63, I'm sure we're going to run into a lot more issues and a lot more damage.
Okay, meteorologist Kyle Kiel is on the road in our Chase 7 vehicle. Kyle, tell us where you are and what you're seeing.
All right, Schnack, we are currently just pulling out of the parking lot of the Ace Hardware on State Street in Tama, and we're actually heading southbound on State Street because we are going to come up on some downed power lines and downed trees, at least downed trees. I can certainly see that right there on the right side of your screen. Looks like a light pole was damaged as well. So we've actually run into quite a bit of damage here in the town of Tama. So we are noticing that traffic every so often is backed up southbound on State Street in Tama due to, looks like, some bent power lines or some leaning power poles. And as we've mentioned before, if you ever come across these power lines on the ground, you never want to come across them because they could be live, they could lead to a fire, and they could electrocute you as well. I'm going to pan over here to the left. Again, we're just in Tama right now near 2nd Street and State Street, kind of on the corner there. And we've got a building that's been pretty much much destroyed. Not sure what building it is. There's a sign on the business. It looks like maybe some storage or something, but certainly some pretty hefty damage here from those winds that rolled through. Again, they were anywhere from 60 to as high as 90 miles per hour. So this is the type of damage that we've been seeing. I can see that sign completely blown out, so we're not really sure what business that is. Certainly a lot of buildings suffering some roof damage as well. I'm going to pan over here to the front once again so we can see kind of the road ahead of us. You'll be able to see some of the emergency vehicles, law enforcement out here kind of redirecting traffic. I've also seen some DOT plows a little bit ago that were out here removing debris. So yes, just because we are not in the winter season does not mean those plows are helpful. A lot of times with these widespread severe events where we get debris strewn all over the place, we definitely do get those plows that do get out and help remove that debris so emergency vehicles can get through and assess the information. So we're going to continue to track this damage here in Toledo and Tama. Again, we've come across a lot of tree damage, quite a bit of power line damage between Traer and Tama along Highway 63. So north and southbound lanes of Highway 63 are likely going to be pretty backed up due to the fact that there are several power poles that are on the street. And right now we're kind of in a parking lot here, and we're noticing many limbs down, many tree limbs down, and of course quite a bit of power line damage as well. Not necessarily in Tama have we seen the power lines being blown over completely, but we have had quite a bit of debris hanging from them, or we've had some kind of it looks like the wind kind of tilts them, so it's not completely blown over, but it's certainly leaning, and any sort of wind gusts that we get over the next few days could take that power line down. Here in portions of Tama County, I'll switch back to our rooftop cam, and you can see that tree right in front of us here that is completely snapped in half. Right there on the left-hand side of your screen, have police that are kind of directing people here through town. But this is the type of damage that we are seeing widespread across the Toledo and Tama area. I'm going to zoom over here to the right, and you'll be able to see a little bit more of some of the tree damage that we are seeing. Again, portions of State Street southbound as you're heading out of Tama, not closed, but traffic being rerouted because of a little bit of tree damage on the road or trees along the road. So we're going to continue to follow this damage here in Tama County.
Kyle, keep going just to your right on that, to your right just a little bit. It looked like there was a power pole or utility pole that was leaning in towards the streets.
Yes.
Right about there, just off in the distance, right through the center of those true trees there. Is that a power pole?
Yep. And that is about the point that the emergency crews are telling people they should not drive through. So every so often we'll see traffic move through, and then they'll allow the other lane a few minutes to go through as well, so they can kind of go around that. So yeah, that is a leaning power pole, and just beyond that, we're kind of far away because we can't get to that point, but it does look like there are at least some tree limbs over the road. So that's the kind of damage that we've been seeing here along State Street in Tama County.
As the rain looks like it stopped in your area, and the wind doesn't appear to be
Yep, it stopped
now.
probably within the last 5 or 10 minutes. So the rain has stopped. So we're starting to notice a lot of people come out and kind of survey the damage. In fact, we've got a woman here outside of her property. Looks like she's taking pictures, I'm sure, you know, for insurance purposes and whatnot. But certainly quite a bit of damage here in Tama.
Okay, here's a question for you. This will be more of an experience thing, a personal experience. You were out there in the chase vehicle as the storm was rolling on through, and you had winds probably impacting you maybe 70 to 100 miles an hour, at least 80 miles an hour. The vehicle is, you know, pretty substantial that you're in. What would it feel like? And you were seeing the debris going across the front of the vehicle earlier this afternoon. What was going on?
It was scary, Schnack. It was, we had just actually taken the chase vehicle to air when we started seeing the debris blowing, and we could just feel the vehicle shaking back and forth, and we had to really slow down as we were traveling southbound along Highway 63. But yeah, it was some pretty strong wind. I think we were just on the north edge of the strongest wind, so I would have estimated those winds between 50 and 60 miles per hour. But certainly the farther south we went, the more damage, the more higher end damage is what we saw, which is likely where we did see those 60 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts. So yeah, it was definitely an interesting experience being here in this chase vehicle. I mean, we could tell right when we were getting into the severe part of the storm because it's just immediately that wind just was blowing that rain in sheets across the road and just kind of rocking the vehicle back and forth. But as you mentioned, this vehicle is very sturdy, so we felt safe in Storm Chaser 7.
Well, I appreciate the insight, the pictures, the video, and be safe and keep us up to date, and we'll check back with you as you meander through Tama County there and find out all of what else is going on there.